My dear friends, let's give some tzedakah, and together we'll have the tefillah, our prayer for the safety and well-being of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael, obviously for the soldiers who are selflessly giving of their lives, not of their lives, but actually their lives, for our safety, for the well-being of all of Klal Yisrael, for the hostages, which is just mind-boggling to think, over 100 days they're already hostages, and please God, protect them. And may they come home safe. And all of us who are hostages, we should all come out already from our exile. Talking about coming out from exile. Torah says, the expression, Ki meitzeis from eretz Mitzrayim haren niflois, tell our sages. The same process as coming out of Egypt will be repeated itself in a different context, obviously, in a different setting, in the final redemption. Let's look at the pasuk, or at the verses of the Torah, where they talk about the actual coming out of Egypt. We know that on Pesach we drink 4 cups of wine. And why is that? Because of the 4 different expressions in the Torah that we find about being freed of Egypt. Voitzeisi, Vitzalti. I'm sorry, I skipped one. V'ga'alti, v'lokachti. I've taken you out, I've saved you, I've liberated you, and I will take you. Let's look a few of the words here. And the Torah says the following. Voitzeisi eschem, l'chein amer levnei Yisrael, and thus you should tell to the Jewish people. Ani Hashem, I'm God, your God. Voitzeisi eschem, and I will take you out mitachas sivlois Mitzrayim, from the suffering, from the challenges, from the difficulties of Egypt. Vitzalti eschem, I will save you. And he goes on. But here is the word, Voitzeisi eschem, I will take you out, mitachas, from under sivlois Mitzrayim. The suffering. Sivlois is usually translated as the suffering. So I heard from Rabbi Jacobson, who quotes, I think he said, as Fasemes or the Chodush Orim. And he says the word sivlois has also a different meaning. Sivlois also means, besides the suffering, lisbol, to suffer, but also to have patience, to accept. You know, Israelis are known to be the most, quite impatient. Yet, whenever you stand somewhere in line and somebody jumps the line and somebody gets nervous, they scream and they have this gesticulation, Savlanut, have patience. And they say it in the most impatient of ways. Patience is a virtue. By the way, they say, what makes a successful doctor? Patience. But patience also has a negative connotation. When we become patient to someone else's suffering, we accept it. Or for that matter, when we become patient with exile, says the Eibishter, Voitzeisi eschem mitachas sivlois Mitzrayim. I will take you out from this patience that you have developed from being in Egypt. Yes, in exile, we can become complacent. We can start accepting it. We can start get used to it. And sometimes it's relatively easy to get used to it. Why? It's pretty good. In general, life today is quite comfortable. Most people don't live in poverty, although unfortunately many of them are, but in general, the Jewish community is relatively comfortable. We have Jewish education, we have all that we need to lead a religious life. There is restaurants galore, there's kosher food galore. We're not being forbidden to study Torah, we're not being forbidden to do mitzvahs. We can become patient. We can become complacent. Says the Eibishter, Voitzeisi eschem mitachas sivlois Mitzrayim. I will take you out from this feeling of complacency, of being patient. Mashiach will come, he'll come whenever he'll come. In the meantime, I lead my life as comfortably, as beautiful as could be. So God says, I will take you out of this. And you know what, my friends? Let's look at what's happening today around the world. Suddenly, wherever we go, any part of the world, in the States and in Europe, South Africa suddenly became the moral compass of the world. And what are we being told with all those demonstrations? Time to get out of Egypt. You don't belong here. And indeed, you know what? They're right. We don't belong either in America, we don't belong in South Africa, we don't belong in Canada, we don't belong in Europe. We belong in one place, we belong with Mashiach and the Beis HaMikdash. That's what the Torah says. Take yourself, I will take you out and you take yourself out of this complacency, and we will all reach, in Yetz Hashem, the Gula with Mashiach.